Welcome to the Fire and Earth podcast with your hosts, Jason Mefford and Kathy Gruver. Fire and Earth, giving you the keys to unlock your limitless potential.
Welcome to another episode of the Fire and Earth podcast. I'm your co-host, Jason Mefford.
And I am Kathy Gruver, and we are so excited to have an amazing guest, one of my favorite people. As you all know, I have a huge love of magic. We've had a couple magicians on the show, but this is a treat. We've got Mike Pisciotta today, everybody. Woohoo! Hey, Mike. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So can you tell people a little bit about your background, who you are, what you do, and how you got to this place?
Absolutely. Yeah, I got into magic as a kid, like most people, but maybe a little bit later, actually. I got inspired when I was 12. I didn't start doing it until I was 15. So I wasted the first 15 years of my life. And then, I was into it for quite a while, and I moved to Los Angeles in 2003, just to be near the Magic Castle, not to work there, not to perform there. I just wanted to be there. I wanted to soak it all up, up as much magic as possible, as all my heroes that I would read about as a teenager had done. And, in all those stories, where were they? They were in Hollywood, California at the Magic Castle. And so I thought, well, that's probably the place for me. So when I was 28, I packed up everything I owned. I sold my business. I sold the house. I left a fiance, and I changed my life. I wasn't happy with where I was, and I went, that's not the path for me. Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss and doors will open for you that would not open for anyone else. Follow your bliss and don't be afraid. And so I spent my life really following that. And along the way, back in Colorado, I had a real estate appraisal business at the time. Like I said, I owned a house. I was almost married, and I just was miserable. It wasn't the life for me. And so I made that change, and I came out here, and I became a member of the castle, and I started hanging out, and for years of that, and then got jobs, and then would advance in those jobs. And I got offered vice president positions with companies with high salaries. And then that day that I got that, I had to quit because that's not why I'm here. And, my girlfriend and my wife, but my girlfriend at the time said, we'll just take it for a year and just save up some money. And if I take it for a year, then we're going to have a mortgage and we'll have a car. And then I'm going to be doing that for the rest of my life. And that's not why I moved here. And that's happened a number of times that I've been doing that. And then finally, eventually it paid off. And now I'm the resident magician at the Magic Castle, as you know, the first one there in over 50 years, really.
Yeah.
That does that every week, and I'm there 4 nights a week, 6 to 10 shows a night. So I'm following my bliss.
Yeah. And there's such bravery in that, to leave everything. And, Jason and I have similar stories, not quite as to the extent that you do, but yeah, I agree with you. The whole, we'll just be a vice president for a year. Well, it doesn't work that way. You start to, the more income, typically the more income you make, then the more obligations you have. And then suddenly you do have the mortgage and the car, and then you can't leave that job, right? You get so comfortable in that. So
you have to go on to something very similar. You can't. If you're going to shift gears, you have to make that much money again. You have to make that. And so it's been hard to do that and pull back and go, well, money's not the thing that's ever been my motivator. I want to be comfortable, of course. And I am, but I'd like it to not be a worry like anybody else. I don't need to be a worry, but it's never been my driving motivator. My driving motivator has always been doing something I love. I don't want to waste my time doing things that I hate doing. So.
Well, that's great. I mean, I love that you bring up Joseph Campbell, right? Because I love him too. And that whole idea of follow your bliss. It sounds so simple, right? Just follow your bliss. Just follow your bliss, right?
First, what is your bliss? Finding your bliss is hard, And, really for a lot of people don't know what their bliss is. Like they don't have a thing. They go to work, they come home, they watch TV, they go to bed, they wake up, they go to work, they come home, they watch TV. Like they don't know. They know the little snippets of things that make them happy here and there, but it's not it's not the main part of their life. And I feel like a lot of people have never figured out what it is that is their bliss. What is that thing that you want to do for free? What is that thing that what is it you're thinking about before you go to bed, and the thing you think about when you wake up in the morning? And if you don't have something like that, well, then it's time to go out and start looking around and start reading new books and meeting new people and trying new experiences and taking new classes and doing things until you find that thing that you wake up going, I want to paint that picture. Oh, I have a picture I want to paint. I want to sculpt, and that's, whatever it is that you find. And it doesn't have to be an artistic pursuit by any means. It could be anything but everybody has that thing. And if you it doesn't have to be your career either.
Right. Well, and I was going to say, it doesn't have to be what you make your living at. And then on the flip side of that, I've had somebody say, oh, blah, 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 it must be, you get to retire. You don't you want to retire? And I'm like, no, I never want to retire. Like, I will forever be traveling around, speaking, writing, doing my coaching. Heck, I don't even really see giving up massage. I mean, I can't do massage forever because my hands hurt. But at some point, if I won a lottery today, I would travel the hell out of the world and I would still keep working. Right. I would not stop doing what I do because that is my bliss. I love helping people. I love doing the coaching. I love doing the speaking. I love educating people and entertaining people. So yeah, I mean, I've found my bliss as well. And so I applaud you for finding yours and encouraging people to look for it, because I think it's lost. I think it's lost right now.
Well, and I think, I was going to say, because I think, what you bring up, Mike, of a lot of people not knowing what it is, trying to find it. Some people use another word like dharma, right? What's my dharma? What's my dharma? What's my dharma, right? Was this something that was easy for you? Because like I said, I hear this from people all the time. I got to find it. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Did you know, or was there kind of a journey that you went on and finally, like you said, when you were 28, you're like, shit, I know what it is? Or did you know it all along? And
when I was 15, like I said, is when I started doing magic. But I saw a magic kit in a bookstore, and it was the Mark Wilson course in magic. And I thought, I wonder if I could figure out how David Copperfield did that card trick. Because out of all the things I saw David Copperfield do when I was a kid that inspired me when I was 12, he sat down on the stage and he did a card trick that just rocked my world. And that was one of the best parts of the show, because I didn't have it's in that box, or it's, the girl did it, or, there's none of that. It was just him and a deck of cards, and he did this thing that was incredible. And I thought, well, maybe I could figure out how he did that. And that night I bought that kit. I read that book that night, and I stayed up with it. And I woke up in the morning and I was a magician. And I've never not been a magician.
That's so awesome. At that point, you kind of had that identity of this.
I knew that's what I wanted to do. Yeah. And then I got, I went to college, and one of my friends bought a real estate appraisal business and brought me into that. And then I bought half the business from him, and he had a house, and I bought a house down the street, and he got married, and I got a fiance, and his wife got pregnant. And one day he came into the office and he said, I have to leave early today. We're going to go buy a minivan. And I went, that's the next step. I'm out. Yeah. And I moved to California.
And when you get to the minivan, that's
the minivan
for a guy. I know it's a hard thing.
Yeah, and with the girl, like it wasn't the, it was the girl from the hometown, and it wasn't the right one, and it wasn't, I was just never happy. I didn't like what I did every day, and I was only 28, and so if I was already miserable and doing this for years, and how much longer do I have to do this? Like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah,
it just wasn't for me. So I knew then when I was 15 that I was a magician, and I knew it was something that I was interested in and would always do. The thing about magic is you don't have to do it for a living. A lot of the best magicians are amateurs. And by amateurs, it doesn't mean that you're less good. It means that you don't do it to make a living. So in that respect, it's different also, because you can do more things, right? I have, someone asked me at a show I did last night, how many tricks do you know? Thousands of tricks. I'm like, I honestly don't know. I used to know a lot, and now I do like 10 things over and over, and it's not that, but I mean, I have different acts and different sets and stand-up acts, and those all have different things in them. But the point is that, you don't have to do it for a living. But for me, I just knew I wasn't happy doing anything but that. And so it was again, I just wanted to be near the magic castle. It wasn't I'm going to be the resident magician there. I never even thought I'd perform. Like, just performing there the first time was a dream.
Oh yeah. Oh, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Well, and I stepped through the doors of the castle in 1994. My first acting agent said, hey, you should go do this thing. And I went, all right. And he gave me a pass. And of course, there was no internet. So I called, and it was, I want to say it was Bob Gephart's voice on the machine that said, welcome to the Magic Castle, and make a reservation. And I walked through the doors and I went, oh my God, I'm home. And I've always loved magic. I loved magic since I was a little kid. I had a magic kit, and I was so upset that year for Christmas because I wanted the one that had 100 tricks, and my folks could only afford the one that had 20 tricks. And I learned all the tricks, and I'd wear my dad's suit coat, and I'd charge a dime to do a show. And I actually fooled my mom. She couldn't figure out how it was done. My dad, I don't know if he knew or not. But I never wanted to be a magician. I was obsessed with it. And I've had people describe me as a connoisseur of magic because I don't do it, but I know how most of the tricks are done. You still fool me with one, pisses me off. Even though I've seen it, 30 times now at least. But the second I set foot in the castle, I knew I needed to be there. I just needed to be there. I didn't need to do magic. I was a magician's assistant in college, and people are stunned that I don't do magic. But to me, the incredible part of it is that awe, that sense of, oh my God, how do you do it? And I love watching people watch the magic, sometimes more than I like watching the magic.
Human beings have this innate desire for mystical experiences. We do. And I use card tricks as metaphors and a way to concretize those for you. Yeah. I also as a way to stave off my own perennial ennui. I'm a little silly. I get something out of it, but I also enjoy that. I like to see that awe experience, that's a primal thing. It's interwoven in our DNA, like our opposable thumbs. Joseph Campbell called it the awakening of awe, right? That just bafflement at the mystery of life and the universe. And so I'm showing it to you with card tricks and things like that, just to remind you of that feeling that we should all have about life all the time, really.
Because really in that awe, like from being a child, that's what makes you really feel like you're living,
right?
It's like, I've been through the same path that you were, right? You grow up, you become responsible, you go to work, you get a job, you get a mortgage, and it's like, that's soul sucking,
right?
But and we get so busy adulting, we forget to be the child again, and the joy and the awe really comes from feeling more childlike and having experiences like that, of watching somebody do magic.
We change our realities, right? Like, I think it was Leary that talked about the reality tunnels. Robert Anton Wilson talked about them a lot too. And it's something that I got into years ago, and always thought of reality as this: your nervous system is taking in bits of information, and billions of bits of information all the time. And then that's all being filtered through your nervous system, your experiences, your teachers, the people you spend time with, the books you read, the TV shows that you watch, those things that inform you. And so anything that now fits into your worldview becomes part of your reality. And anything that doesn't fit into that worldview is either forced into that worldview or just ignored completely and wiped away. And so sometimes in life, the little things like waking up, going to work, the drudgery that just happens every day and every day and every day, and you're stuck in this, Groundhog Day type routine, that becomes your only reality tunnel. And now you fail to notice the beauty, and you fail to notice it's just not there for you. It's not that you're not seeing it, you are not seeing it, or you're not taking it in, but it's might as well just not be there for you. The fun, the beauty, those things. You have to change that. You have to consciously take in new things. You maybe try meditating, try doing something new, but you have to take in new bits of information, read different books, do things. And as you learn things, your reality tunnels have to change and adjust. And so that can get you out of that drudgery of life, or it could just change negative thinking that you're stuck in all the time. We tend to do that, right?
Yep. 60,000.
Everything's a pessimistic worldview. That's what you see. Is you see a pessimistic worldview, and that's all you can see.
Yeah.
Right. I've lived like that. It's not fun. That's not a fun worldview. And so,
Well, and our brain's out to protect us. So it's constantly looking for negative things to make sure we're protected from them. But the problem is the more negative you look for, the more negative you see. That's what you're going to find. And it's
all you see are yellow car. You know, if you think of yellow cars, all you see is yellow cars. Right?
Exactly. Well, and I encourage, when I teach my stress reduction stuff, I tell people to take that pause, because there's power in that pause, right? I mean, I live in Santa Barbara. Every place I look, there's beach. I mean, like every road I drive on, I can go, oh, there's the beach. Oh, there's the water. I don't look at it. I'm not I'm not a beach person. So like that doesn't draw me. But there are times where I'll be sitting at a red light and I'll actually stop and like kind of unfocus from this and go, oh my God, I can see the water from here. Oh, that's right. Oh, look at that tree. How pretty. You know, it's like you have to pull yourself out of that shit hole that you're in every single day and look at something a different way. And that's what the castle does to me and to everybody I take there.
That's it. I like to rock those foundations and just shake you out of your stupor of the things that you've been seeing and realize there's, you know, again, I'm doing it as metaphors for you with card tricks, but it's out there for real. Like it's in the real world for you. I'm just trying to wake you up a little bit.
Yeah. Jason has never been to the castle.
Oh, no.
I know.
Not yet. I know so many people that are members and they're like, come on. So I got to get down there one of these days. So,
well, if only you knew a board member.
I know, or somebody who's a resident magician there that could get me in, right? Or
you've got the two most important people here in the room.
I know.
We have a ghost piano player named Irma, who you can ask her questions. She'll answer the questions like, what's your favorite drink? What's your favorite TV show? How are you feeling? And she'll answer on the piano, and then she can play anything. It's mind blowing. And I took a girlfriend. She was in awe. She wanted to go to the castle so bad. Really good friend of mine. And we park it in front of Irma, and she's like looking under the piano, and she's baffled as to how this is happening. And then my friend Googled bizarre songs to try to have Irma play, and she played every single one. And she got a little tipsy. But as we're leaving, she was so mad that she couldn't figure out how Irma works. She literally grabbed the valet guy and said, "Tell me how Irma works." And the valet guy went,
"I don't know.
It's magic."
Oh,
and she was so mad, but it's true. I mean, she was so in awe, and I love watching people watch you, because you're one of my favorite. We see you every time you're there, and I love your philosophy. I know I interviewed you for a book that I was working on, Us Versus Them, and you and I talked a lot about the sort of the psychology of people, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, because I just love the way you think too. So,
thank you.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's interesting because, like, you know, you bring up the Irma piano player issue, right? That a lot of it too, you know, we want to figure it out. We want to think, we want to understand, but a lot of times it's just, we don't have to understand. Just enjoy the moment, enjoy the awe. I mean, because again, I mean, it's one of the reasons that magic is so awe-inspiring is we don't know how you're doing it, right? And it's like, how did he do that? That's
right. I don't
cool, right? It's because of those mysteries, right? That we want. Yeah.
Secrets are kept for you. If you knew, it denies that mystery.
It denies the awe.
Denies that feeling of awe. But you know, I used to be very upset that I didn't know how the universe works. Like I was upset and generally depressed with my place in the universe, my time. I was either to be born hundreds of years earlier or hundreds of years later, because I will never get the answers that I needed and felt like I needed and desired here. And I got very into science and physics and things. And, you know, I'm not living in a time where they're going to tell me what the universe actually is and how it got here. And, you know, we have our some good theories, and we have some things we're working on, and that's what I'm left with. And that used to really upset me. I'm never going to know. And then I realized that's what makes it so wonderful. That is what makes it wonderful and worth doing. It's I'm not supposed to know it.
Yeah. Can you still find awe in watching other magicians?
Yes, some of them. Yeah, sure. You know, it's different. It's different. But, you know, some of my very favorite performers are magicians. And so, you know, guys like Jared Koff and Paul V. Hill and Derek Delgadio, and those are my friends. But they bring me to tears almost every time I watch their act. You know, they're just so beautiful, I think. Yeah. and so well designed, and that. So I mean, it's different when I watch magic. Is I'm watching different things than other people are watching, but I find beauty in different ways in it. Yeah. You know. I
Yeah.
love to
Well,
be fooled. I love that. I love that feeling of when it gets me, because especially in being magic this long, it's not that often, but there's certainly people that could do it. When I am fooled, and I'm like, especially if I have no idea. Yeah, I love that feeling, because in about 20 minutes I'm going,
right.
So enjoy that 20 minutes before you figure it out.
Yeah, about no idea what just happened. What could have happened? And then I think, well, how would I do that?
Right. Well, and it's like, I love watching Penn and Tellers fool us, because, if you can fool them, then you did something amazing. Well, and I'm at the castle all the time. I mean, I've been going for so many years, and I've had people say, don't you see the same tricks over and over again? I go, yeah. And they say, don't you know how a lot of them are done? And I say, yeah. And they say, well, why do you keep going? And I said, because one, every magician does it differently. And I have literally spent nights at the castle where I have seen 2 or 3 magicians do the same illusion or the same trick, but so differently.
Right.
And to me, even if I know how it's done, then it becomes the way they palmed that card, or the way they did that maneuver, or, oh, I saw it was just beauty. Then it becomes the beauty of the doing, not the mystery of the doing. And I think that's almost the next level. And with not knowing how the universe works, maybe we just have to embrace the beauty of not knowing, right? As opposed to having to figure it out.
That's the only way I could come to peace with that, was to go, well, that's the neat part. That's that mystery is what makes this all worth doing, just like a magic trick.
Mm-hmm.
No, I spent my time doing that for other people. And then it dawned on me, oh, the universe is doing it to me. Like that says the mystery. I'm not meant to know. Just like you're not meant to know how that card got there.
Yeah.
It's not for you. It's not for me.
One day I'll know.
Well, and I love that. You said secrets are kept for you.
Yeah.
Right. I love that. And it's
Michael Weber is the first person I heard say that. I'll do credit to Michael Weber. I don't keep secrets from you. I keep them for you. And
that's so great.
That really resonated with me. And because that's exactly what this is. If it's, you don't want to know how the sausage is made. It's not what it's about. Like, if you know that, then you've denied the purpose of it. It goes back to the beginning of civilizations. We'd all go out into the field, and as your shaman, I'd pass around a bowl, and everybody would drink from that bowl, and then I'd put fire in my mouth, right? Only then. And then it's what Jodorowsky called the sacred trap. The shaman would do these tricks and these things so that when they tell you to take this medicine, that they know something that you don't know. And they're steps ahead of you, and they have some sort of connections that you don't know. And so the magic was for that purpose. The things, it's a show to show a connection of things. And so later on, of course, it becomes relegated to entertainment and nightclubs and things like we do now. But that's all still inside of us, in our DNA, and that vestigial memory of that desire for that mystical experience.
Yeah. And that's why I go to the castle, and that's why I love taking people there. I took one friend and I said, "What'd you think?" And he goes, "I don't think I'd go back." I mean, like, that's the only person in the history of the world that I've ever heard not just ache to go back. And as if he's like, I saw it, I don't need to see it again. I'm like, do you not understand? Like, do you never need to see a sunset again because you saw one? Like, it's different every time. And that was just so mind-blowing to me, just because I love expanding my mind. I love reading, and this is why I love talking to you, because like you have such a background in things that interest me that I didn't delve as deeply in as you did. This is how we learn and grow, and we self-actualize, is through having conversations like this. Is why Jason and I do this podcast and talk about things like socks and Pepe Le Pew and philosophy and hypnosis and all sorts of fun stuff.
Love it.
Yeah. Jason's thinking.
No, it's like, I mean, you said a few things in here. It's like we could be here for hours, because I could go down a whole bunch of rabbit holes with you, my friend, on this. But I think it's, what I love too. And maybe here's a question for you too, right? Because again, I mean, Kathy and I are speakers and performers, if you will, as well too, right? And like you said, when you're watching somebody else do the magic, you see it differently, and the awe is a little bit different. but two, as a performer, right, that a lot of times, and you see this with musicians and other people too, right, that there's, I think you said you kind of get down to like doing 10 different tricks now, right? So you're doing those tricks multiple times a night, multiple times a week. And to me it seems like, the great performers are the ones who can do it over and over and over again without losing that passion for it, with making every performance, means something for the audience and connecting with the audience, right? I mean, it's like, I'm sure there's magicians that are just kind of like going through the motions, and you can feel that they're going through the motions, or musicians that are, oh shit, I have to play the song that I played
I'm sure
times.
I'm
Right?
guilty too. Come show 10 or 11 sometimes at night. And I get halfway through a thing and I don't even remember where I'm at anymore, because I've done it 10 times already tonight. I don't know what part of, did I already show you the third coin?
Right. That one that's hidden there invisibly.
Where did I put the third coin?
You didn't know about that yet? Oh, I'm sorry to ruin that for you. I don't know where I'm at. But I try not to do that. For me, I try to do real magic in every show. And so I'm going to take a step back real quick. Magic is real. And I don't mean the supernatural is real when I say that. All art is magic. Aleister Crowley said magic is a change in consciousness based on the will. And that sounds like all art to me. I don't know how you hear that, but that sounds like art to me, a change in consciousness based on the will. That's the point of art, is it not? Like to change somebody's consciousness, and that's what you willed to happen. So with that definition of magic, I can roll with that. I use sleight of hand and misdirection to show you those things. Right? Those are the tools that I use to show you magic. But if you can't hear music, playing the violin is just scraping a cat's entrails with horse's hair. Right? That's what it is. But if you can hear music, it's more than that. And if you can feel music, it's even more than that. And that's what magic is like too, right? The magic starts the same way it does for you as a speaker. When you walk out, you introduce yourself to the audience, right? The magic happens in people's minds. And so your change in their consciousness begins right then. Now, as a speaker and as a performer, in the first 30 seconds of you taking a stage, everybody's just judging you. They're not listening to you. They're just, oh, he's fatter than I thought he was. He's a little shorter than I thought he was. He's bald, like whatever it is. That's 30 seconds. And so in that 30 seconds, you have to show them with body language and things like that, who you are as a human being, and how open you are, right? Come out and embrace the audience, right? I'm not a closed off performer. I'm not hiding behind a table. I'm here for you, and I'm to give myself to you. And that puts them at ease, right? That's real magic. This is real magic taking place. Stagecraft is real magic. And that's the stuff that is in between and around all of the tricks that I do as a magician. And that's the stuff that makes it feel like real magic, not tricks. And so there's a difference of doing tricks and doing real magic. And the difference is all those little things that I've thought about that you can't think that I've thought about. But I've thought about them all. There are no ordinary moments in life, and that's doubly so on stage. There are no ordinary moments.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just amazing, because as you're sitting there talking about it too, I mean, again, I think it goes back to anybody who's a performer, an artist, but it's even broader than that. But that the underlying for why so many people in this world do what they do, like you, right, is to try to raise people's level of consciousness, get them out of that reality tunnel, help them in their daily grind, their Groundhog's Day bullshit tunnel that they're in, to go, oh, hey, there was a butterfly over there. I didn't notice that before, right?
Just for 10 minutes or 20 minutes.
And then they go for a little bit.
But for 20 minutes, I got to give you a little more joy in your life, or a little something else, whether it changes your consciousness or not, ultimately. Even if it's just for a little bit.
But every little bit adds up, right? At some point, there's going to have to be that shift, because you keep experiencing those little moments.
Sure.
Yeah, I love it. Oh my God.
Right? Like if you're open to those things, you see them all the time. Synchronicities, little things happen throughout life constantly, but most people you don't see it.
That's my word for 2022 is synchronicity.
Okay.
We started January 1st with huge synchronicities, my boyfriend and I. And so that's well, at least mine word for the year. And my cat is named after Aleister Crowley, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a fan.
Mr.
Cool.
Crowley.
Yes. Cool. We could talk all day. Mike, how can people reach you and book you or all that good stuff?
My website is MikePisciotta.com.
Cool.
MikePisciotta.com. That would be the best way.
Sounds good. Yay.
Perfect. Or Instagram at Mike Pisciotta _. I don't know what it is, but Mike Pisciotta on Instagram.
So you're on Instagram. Too. There you go.
I'll drop it I'll find it and drop it in the lower third. And I don't think I follow you on Instagram, so I'll have to do that. This has been such an amazing conversation, Mike. Thank you so much for coming on. Lovely to see you. I will see you this weekend.
Looking forward
watching you do your magic. I'm Kathy Gruver. I could be reached at kathygruver.com.
And I'm Jason Mefford. I can be reached at jasonmefford.com. So go out, enjoy some magic in your life this week, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the Fire and Earth podcast. See ya.